Om Akyana Timirandasya Kyanangena Salakaya Sakshur Militanyena Tasma Sri Gurave Namaha Vanchaka Patarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Garatuse Namaha. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya-lila Chapter 1, Srila Rupa Goswami's second meeting with the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even a lame man can cross over the mountain and a dumb man recite Vedic literature. My path is very difficult. I am blind and my feet are slipping again and again. Therefore, may the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. I pray to the lotus feet of the six Goswamis, Sri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta and Das Raghunath, so that all impediments to my writing this literature will be annihilated and my real desire will be fulfilled. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, underneath a desire tree, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associate, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. Sri Srila Gopinath, who originated the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance, stands on the shore at Bamsibat and attracts the attention of the cowherd damsels with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I have briefly described the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as the Madhya Lila. Now I shall attempt to describe something about his last pastimes, which are known as the Antya Lila. I have briefly described the Antya Lila within the description of the Madhya Lila. I am now almost an invalid because of old age, and I know that at any moment I may die. Therefore I have already described some portions of the Antya Lila. In accordance with the synopsis previously written, I shall describe in detail whatever I have not mentioned. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri from Vrindavan, Swarup Damodar Gosai immediately sent news of the Lord's arrival to the devotees in Bengal. Upon hearing this news, Mother Sachi and all the other devotees of Navadvip were very joyful, and they all departed together for Nilachal, Jagannath Puri. Thus all the devotees of Kulinakram and Sri Kanda, as well as Advaita Acharya, came together to meet Shivananda Sen. Shivananda Sen arranged for the journey. He maintained everyone and provided residential quarters. While going to Jagannath Puri, Shivananda Sen allowed a dog to go with him. He supplied it food to eat and maintained it. One day, when they needed to cross a river, an Orison boatman would not allow the dog to get in the boat. Shivananda Sen, unhappy that the dog had to stay behind, paid the boatman 10 panna of conch shells to take the dog across the river. One day, while Shivananda was detained by a tollman, his servant forgot to give the dog its good cooked rice. At night, when Shivananda Sen returned and was taken his meal, he inquired from the servant whether the dog had gotten its meal. When he learned that the dog had not been supplied food in his absence, he was very unhappy. He then immediately sent 10 men to find the dog. When the men returned without success, Shivananda Sen became very unhappy and fasted for the night. In the morning they looked for the dog, but it could not be found anywhere. All the Vaishnavas were astonished. Thus, in great anxiety, they all walked to Jagannath Puri, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met them as usual. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went with them to see the Lord in the temple, and on that day he also took lunch in the company of all those devotees. As previously, the Lord provided them all with residential quarters, and the next morning all the devotees came to see the Lord. When all the devotees came to the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they saw the same dog sitting a little apart from the Lord. Furthermore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was throwing remnants of green coconut pulp to the dog. Smiling in his own way, he was saying to the dog, "Chant the holy names Rama, Krishna and Hari." Seeing the dog eating the green coconut pulp and chanting Krishna, Krishna again and again, all the devotees present were very surprised. When he saw the dog sitting in that way and chanting the name of Krishna, Shivananda became, because of his natural humility, immediately offered his obeisances to the dog, just to counteract his offenses to it. The next day, no one saw that dog, for it had obtained its spiritual body and departed for Vaikuntha, the spiritual kingdom. Jaya. Such are the transcendental pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Sachi. He even delivered a dog, simply by inducing it to chant the mantra Hare Krishna. Meanwhile, following the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Rupa Goswami returned to Vrindavan. He desired to write dramas concerning the pastimes of Lord Krishna. In Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami began to write a drama. In particular, he composed the introductory verses to invoke good fortune. On his way to Godadesh, Rupa Goswami had been thinking of how to write the action of the drama. Thus he had made some notes and begun to write. In this way the two brothers, Rupa and Anupama, reached Bengal, but when they arrived there, Anupama died. Rupa Goswami then departed to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for he was very eager to see him. There was some delay because of the death of Anupama, and therefore when Rupa Goswami went to Bengal to see the devotees there, he could not get in touch with them because they had already left. In the province of Orissa, there is a place known as Satyabhamapura. Srila Rupa Goswami rested for a night in that village on his way to Jagannath Puri. While resting in Satyabhamapura, he dreamt that a celestially beautiful woman came before him and very mercifully gave him the following order. Write a separate drama about me, she said. By my mercy, it will be extraordinarily beautiful. After having that dream, Srila Rupa Goswami considered, it is the order of Satyabhama that I write a separate drama for her. I have brought together in one work all the pastimes performed by Lord Krishna in Vrindavan and in Dwarka. Now I shall have to divide them into 2 dramas. Thus absorbed in thought, he quickly reached Jagannath Puri. When he arrived, he approached the hut of Haridas Thakur. Out of affectionate love and mercy, Haridas Thakur told Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already informed me that you would come here. After seeing the Upalabhoga ceremony at the Jagannath temple, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would regularly come to see Haridas every day. Thus he suddenly arrived there. When the Lord arrived, Rupa Goswami immediately offered his obeisances. Haridas informed the Lord, "This is Rupa Goswami offering your obeisances," and the Lord embraced him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then sat down with Haridas and Rupa Goswami. They inquired from one another about auspicious news and then continued to talk together for some time. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired about Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami replied, "I did not meet him. I came by the path on the bank of the Ganges, whereas Sanatana Goswami came by the public road. Therefore we did not meet. In Prayag, I heard that he had already gone to Vrindavan." Rupa Goswami next informed the Lord about the death of Anupama. After allotting residential quarters there to Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left. Then all of the Lord's personal associates met Srila Rupa Goswami. On the next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again met Rupa Goswami, and with great mercy, the Lord introduced him to all the devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami offered his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of them all, and all the devotees by their mercy embraced him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu, "You should both show your mercy wholeheartedly to Rupa Goswami. May Rupa Goswami, by your mercy, become so powerful that he will be able to describe the transcendental mellows of devotional service." Thus Rupa Goswami became the object of love and affection for all the devotees of the Lord, including those who came from Bengal and those who resided in Orissa. Every day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to see Rupa Goswami, and whatever prasadam he received from the temple he would deliver to Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. He would talk for some time with them both and then leave to perform his noontime duties. In this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dealings with them continued every day. Thus receiving the transcendental favor of the Lord, Srila Rupa Goswami felt unlimited pleasure. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, taking all his devotees with him, performed the Kundicha Marjan, washing and cleansing of the Kundicha temple. He went to the garden known as Altota and accepted prasadam at a picnic within the garden. When Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami saw that all the devotees were accepting prasadam and chanting the holy name of Hari, they both were greatly pleased. When they received the remnants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prasadam through Govinda, they respected it, and then they both began to dance in ecstasy. On the next day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Srila Rupa Goswami, the omniscient Lord began to speak as follows: "Do not try to take Krishna out of Vrindavan, for he does not go anywhere else at any time. The Krishna known as Yadu Kumar is Vasudev Krishna. He is different from the Krishna who is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Yadu Kumar Krishna manifests his pastimes in the cities of Mathura and Dwarka. But Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, never at any time leaves Vrindavan. After saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to perform his noontime duties, leaving Srila Rupa Goswami somewhat surprised. Satyabhama ordered me to write 2 different dramas, Srila Rupa Goswami thought. Now I understand that this order has been confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Formerly I wrote the 2 dramas as one composition. Now I shall divide it and describe the incidents in 2 separate works. I shall write 2 separate invocations of good fortune and 2 different introductions. Let me think deeply about the matter and then describe 2 different sets of incidents. During the Ratha Yatra ceremony, Rupa Goswami saw Lord Jagannath. He also saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing and chanting in front of the Rath. When Rupa Goswami heard a verse uttered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the ceremony, he immediately composed another verse dealing with the same subject. I have already described all these incidents, but I still wish to add briefly something more. Generally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited a verse while dancing and chanting before the Rath, but no one knew why he was reciting that particular verse. Only Swarup Damodar Gosai knew the purpose for which the Lord recited that verse. According to the Lord's attitude, he used to quote other verses to enable the Lord to relish mellows. Rupa Goswami, however, could understand the intention of the Lord, and thus he composed another verse that appealed to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That very personality who stole my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is here, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest in our intimate relationship. I am also the same lover, yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva, under the Vetashi tree. That is my desire. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Yamuna beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute, playing the 5th note within the forest of Vrindavan. After writing this verse on the palm leaf, Rupa Goswami put it somewhere in his thatched roof and went to bathe in the sea. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there to meet him, and when he saw the leaf pushed into the roof and saw the verse, he began to read it. After reading the verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed by ecstatic love. At that time, Rupa Goswami returned, having finished bathing in the sea. Seeing the Lord, Sri Rupa Goswami fell flat in the courtyard to offer obeisances. The Lord slapped him mildly in love and spoke as follows: "My heart is very confidential. How did you know my mind in this way?" After seeing this, he firmly embraced Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that verse and showed it to Swarup Damodar for him to examine. Then the Lord questioned him, "How could Rupa Goswami have understood my heart?" The Lord asked. Swarup Damodar replied, "I can understand that you have already bestowed your causeless mercy upon him. No one could otherwise understand this meaning. I can therefore guess that previously you bestowed upon him your causeless mercy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, Rupa Goswami met me at Prayag. Knowing him to be a suitable person, I naturally bestowed my mercy upon him. I thereupon also bestowed upon him my transcendental potency. Now you also give him instructions. In particular, instruct him in transcendental mellows. Swarup Damodar said, as soon as I saw the unique composition of this verse, I could immediately understand that you had bestowed upon him your special mercy. By seeing a result, one can understand the cause of that result. The river Ganges flowing in the heavenly planets is full of golden lotus flowers, and we, the residents of those planets, eat the stems of the flowers. Thus we are very beautiful, more so than the inhabitants of any other planet. This is due to the law of cause and effect, for if one eats food in the mode of goodness, the mode of goodness increases the beauty of his body. After the 4 months of Chaturmasya, Shravan, Bhadra, Asvina and Kartik, all the Vaishnavas of Bengal returned to their homes, but Srila Rupa Goswami remained in Jagannath Puri under the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One day, while Rupa Goswami was writing his book, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly appeared. As soon as Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami saw the Lord coming, they both stood up and then fell down to offer him their respectful obeisances. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced them both and then sat down. The Lord inquired, "What kind of book are you writing?" He held up a palm leaf that was a page of the manuscript, and when he saw the fine handwriting, his mind was very pleased. Thus being pleased, the Lord praised the writing by saying, "The handwriting of Rupa Goswami is just like rows of pearls." While reading the manuscript, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw a verse on that page, and as soon as he read it, he was overwhelmed by ecstatic love. I do not know how much nectar the 2 syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted this verse, Haridas Thakur, upon hearing the vibration, became jubilant and began to dance while praising its meaning. One has to learn about the beauty and transcendental position of the holy name of the Lord by hearing the revealed scriptures from the mouth of devotees. Nowhere else can we hear of the sweetness of the Lord's holy name. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Haridas and Rupa Goswami and left for the seaside to perform his noontime duties. On the next day, after visiting the temple of Jagannath, as usual, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar. They all went together to Srila Rupa Goswami, and on the way the Lord greatly praised his qualities. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited the 2 important verses, he felt great pleasure. Thus, as if he had 5 mouths, he began to praise his devotee. Just to examine Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Roy, the Lord began to praise the transcendental qualities of Sri Rupa Goswami before them. Characteristically, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not take seriously an offense committed by a pure devotee. The Lord accepts whatever small service a devotee renders as being such a great service that he is prepared to give him, even himself. What to speak of all other benedictions? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities. When Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami saw that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come with his intimate devotees, they both immediately fell down like logs and offered prayers to their lotus feet. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal devotees met Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. The Lord then sat down in an elevated place with his devotees. Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur sat at the foot of the elevated place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was sitting. Although everyone asked them to sit on the same level as the Lord and his associates, they did not do so. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Rupa Goswami to read the verse they had previously heard, Rupa Goswami, because of his great shyness, did not read it, but instead remained silent. Then Swarup Damodar Goswami recited the verse, and when all the devotees heard it, their minds were struck with wonder. My dear friend, now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I am the same Radharani, and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but I would still like to go to the bank of the Yamuna, beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute, playing the fifth note within the forest of Vrindavan. After hearing this verse, Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Without your special mercy, how could this Rupa Goswami have understood your mind?" Srila Ramananda Roy said that previously Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had empowered his heart so that he could express elevated and conclusive statements to which even Lord Brahma has no access. Had you not previously bestowed your mercy on him, they said, it would not have been possible for him to express your internal feelings. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Rupa, please recite that verse from your drama, which upon being heard makes all people's unhappiness and lamentation go away." When the Lord persisted in asking this again and again, Rupa Goswami recited that verse as follows. I do not know how much nectar the two syllables Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the whole of the ears, we desire many, many ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. When all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially Sri Ramananda Roy, heard this verse, they were all filled with transcendental bliss and were struck with wonder. Everyone admitted that although they had heard many statements glorifying the holy name of the Lord, they had never heard such sweet description as those of Rupa Goswami. Okay, we end here and we read further another time. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila Chapter 1 Ki Jai. Srila Rupa Goswami's second meeting with the Lord Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Didi, you want to sing? Hari Radhaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopala Govindalam Sri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chanda Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chanda Radharada Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Gadadara Sivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayarupa Sanatana Bhaktara Gunata Jayarupa Sanatan Bhaktara Gunata Siddhiva Gopala Bhaktara Gunata Siddhiva Gopala Bhaktara Gunata Ejai Gochai Kori Charana Vandana Ejai Gochai Kori Charana Vandana Jai Devi Gana Savita Purana Jai Devi Gana Savita Purana Ejai Gochai Gana Muitara Dasa Ejai Gochai Jai Muitara Dasa Sansavara Parare Numora Panchadasa Sansavara Parare Numora Panchadasa Kandera Charana Sevi Bhaktasane Bhasa Kandera Charana Sevi Bhaktasane Bhasa Janame Janame Mora Eya Vilasa Janame Janame Mora Eya Vilasa Ejai Gosai Jave Raja Kola Vasa Ejai Gosai Jave Raja Kola Vasa Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasha Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasha Advaita ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Sila Bhakti Nimalachaya Maharaj ki. Jai Sri Chaitanya Sai Satmat Sri Acharya Vrinda ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Sila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Sila Bhakti Rakak Sita Dev Goswami Maharaj ki. Jai Bhagavan Sila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki. Sri Rupanuga Gurvarga ki. Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Prem Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. Jai Sri Rupa Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu ki. Sabhashada Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki. Sabhashada Sri Mama Prabhu ki. Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki. Tulasi Maharani ki. Ganga Yamuna Chu ki. Grantarachi Mad Bhagavatam Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki. Jai Sri Navadvip Dham ki. Sri Mayapur Dham ki. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki. Sri Purushottama Dham ki. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki. Harinam Sankirtan ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande.